Salvador Dalí was one of the most influential painters of the 20th century. He is known for his artwork, particularly his surrealist paintings, but is also remembered for his eccentric behavior and personal style. Dalí was born May 11, 1904, with the name Salvador Domingo Felipe Jacinto Dalí y Domènech. He grew up in Catalonia, a Spanish principality near the French border. He had a sister born 3 years after he was, and his older brother, also named Salvador, died 9 months before Dalí was born. Because of the timing, the family believed that the new child was a reincarnation of the first. This would impact Dalí and his art for the rest of his life, as seen most prominently in his obsession with decay. Dalí experienced the death of another family member when his mother died of breast cancer in 1921, when Dalí was just 16 years old. His mother had always encouraged his artistic side, even when his father had been less than enthusiastic. On the subject of her death, he said, "I could not resign myself to the loss of a being on whom I counted to make invisible the unavoidable blemishes of my soul." By this time, Dalí had already been painting for a number of years. Interested in modern painting, he considered himself an impressionist at this point. In 1922, he was accepted into the San Fernando Academy of Fine Arts in Madrid. It was there that he met and befriended many prominent contemporaries, including filmmaker Luis Buñuel, writer Pepín Bello, and poet Federico Garcia Lorca. While at the school, he experimented with styles such as Cubism and Dadaism, which were both important art movements at the time. These artworks began to draw attention from his classmates, and so did his outlandish behaviors and appearances. He was expelled from the academy upon refusing to take his final exams on the grounds that he felt his professors were unfit to grade him and his work. He was known for his shock tactics as well. He would often voice radical political beliefs, including everything from anarchism to monarchism, mainly just to get a reaction from those around him. Dalí's art began to be more widely recognized after a solo exhibit of his work was shown in Barcelona in 1925. 3 of his paintings, including The Basket of Bread, were shown at the Carnegie International Exhibition in Pittsburgh 3 years later. This still life painting is an example that shows off Dalí's mastery of the realistic, academic style seen in classical paintings by the old masters. Throughout his career, he would demonstrate a mastery of a wide variety of different styles. The year 1929 proved to be an important and eventful one for Dalí. In this year, he had his first solo Paris exhibition. By this time, he was shifting his focus towards surrealism. He helped his friend Luis Buñuel to write the surrealist film Un Chien Andalou, which is essentially several minutes of dreamlike nonsense. The film led him to formally joining André Breton and the Paris Surrealists, a group of artists inspired by Sigmund Freud and the preceding Dadaist movement, who planned to dig into the unconscious mind and reveal the imagery found inside. In 1929, Dalí also met Elena Ivanova Diakonova, also known as Gala. Although she was married to surrealist poet Paul Éluard, she and Dalí soon fell in love, and later began what would become a lifelong marriage. In addition to being his wife and business partner, Gala was Dalí's greatest source of inspiration and would frequently appear in his artwork. Dalí quickly became the most prolific surrealist painter, despite getting expelled from the surrealist group several years later, due mainly to political disagreements between him and Breton. Dalí's surrealist paintings from this period are perhaps his most important, and certainly his most well-known. 1931's The Persistence of Memory features the now famous melting clocks, representative of the impermanence and relativity of time. It also features a wide, barren landscape that was used in numerous other works by him. There are also ants crawling from the pocket watch on the lower left side, which is a visual motif also seen in Un Chien Andalou and in several other Dalí paintings, meant to represent varying things from death to sexuality. In this and other works, Dalí employed the paranoid critical method, a technique he developed that links otherwise unrelated objects in the brain. By doing so, he was able to access new levels of the unconscious mind. The photorealistic style, combined with the bizarre subjects, is seen throughout most of Dalí's surrealistic work and gives the viewer the eerie feeling of having walked in on someone's dream, or, perhaps more accurately, their nightmare. Dalí and Gala spent the 1940s in the United States to escape from the effects of the Second World War, before eventually returning to Catalonia. During this time, Dalí moved back towards Catholicism, and religious and historical themes began to become more present in his artwork as he moved into a more classical period. He became a huge celebrity while in the United States, though most critics feel that his artwork became less interesting and important around this time. Gala died in 1982, which resulted in the deterioration of Dalí's health until his own death in 1989. Salvador Dalí is remembered for his immense creativity, eccentricity, and impact on art.